Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where this time we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite characters from the prequel movies, Jango Fett. The original origin of not only the Fett line of Mandalorian bounty hunters, obviously infamous for his son Boba Fett, but he was also the template for the entire clone army. And I think this is important because with the secret plan behind the clones and what their intention was meant to be, as far as the grand scheme of Darth Sidious and the ultimate execution of Order 66. I think selecting the right person to be the template for that army was something they did not take lightly. And I think their choice of Jango Fett really speaks a lot to the characteristics they saw to allow him to be that template. Um, Jango starred in the Bounty Hunter video game from the early 2000s from LucasArts. Great game if you've never played it, but it kind of follows Jango's story leading up into Attack of the Clones. And we didn't get a ton of him in the movie itself, but he holds his own against Obi-Wan Kenobi on Kamino. He's shown to be very cunning and utilizing the tools he has at his disposal, as well as utilizing Zam Wessel to carry out the assassination of Padme, which kind of helps him keep his cover, even though he is eventually found. But it's kind of left up to interpretation if it was intentional for Obi-Wan to kind of be led there to discover the clone army. It's kind of set the events of the Clone Wars in motion. So that may not have been a falter on Jango's part. And I think his line about, being a simple man, just making his way in the universe is, not only is it an iconic, quotable line, but it really speaks to Jango's character because he really is just, he's just a guy, but he's a guy who has trained, who knows the Mandalorian arts, he knows the fighting, he knows how to utilize, the armor and his weapons. Very capable in combat, and I think his desire to have a clone for himself to kind of raise as his own son really speaks to him, a part of him wanting to be part of a family, and kind of keep his legacy going. You can definitely tell that's something that meant a lot to him. He was very protective of Boba. And I think Boba kind of grows up being very, reminiscent of his, quote unquote father. And, really carrying over those traits and combat skills, into his own career as a bounty hunter. Jango was one of the most important assets to the overall scheme of the Sith. And I think just, showing kind of the origin of giving backstory to Boba Fett in a way, just showing where that idea came from. And it's always good to get more Mandalorians in the lore and kind of learn more about the culture, even though Jango wasn't big on the traditional Mandalorian things. He was kind of just more of a bounty hunter and a hired gun. And he's served who is paying the highest. So, with that being said, I'm going to put Jango Fett at a 7.9 out of 10. Again, I think he is a solid character because of his importance to the story and what he represents. His relationship as far as raising Boba and, how that legacy carries on even after his untimely death at the hands of Mace Windu on Geonosis. So, That's going to be it for this video. I appreciate you watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And as always, may the force be with you. Now let's blow up that like button and go home.